This our show, and we talk about everything, and we talk about everything. Royal Flex, the brand zone, introspective insight right now. Peace, love, and all that good stuff. I am KingDev though.
Europe, and it's your girl, FancyLancey, in the building.
Because Shannon and China, they not here. They had prior obligations that they had to do. So, I had to come with the substitute.
And I'm here.
Something like that. It ain't even a substitute. It's like it's a person that is legitimate. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna tell you all a story. This was the person that was actually supposed to start the show. And then life happened. Literally life happened.
Real life.
Life happened. And then,
here I am.
You're still here, though.
Still here.
Still making
Queening.
moves and, queening. And, it's just, it's a matter of time. I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that. It's a matter of time.
I'm glad to be here.
Matter of time. So, we got the word of the show and the quote of the show. So the word of the show is Penumbra, which is a shadowy, indefinite, or marginal area.
I got to try to say that word.
Penumbra.
Penumbra.
And
it's spelled exactly like you would think.
Yeah.
Penumbra.
When I was writing it, I started saying penumbra.
That's how I say number anyway. I'm like, what's your
Penumbra. Number, yeah. That's how you say your number. And then the quote of the show is, have patience with all things, but first of all yourself. Okay, I read that wrong. Have patience with all things, but first of all yourself. Have patience with yourself before you can have patience with anything else, because that's the way of life.
Yeah, but I feel like it's something you learn as you go.
That's a fact.
Because
I know this is off topic like a motherfucker, so I ain't gonna expound on it, but
that is something that we learn over time. So Payless did this prank on social media influencers, and I want y'all to listen to it. So here it go.
The experiment making headlines by the chain Payless shoes. They held a grand opening of a luxury store with a different name but the same shoes, and charged hundreds more for those same shoes. Customers paid. Here's ABC's Kana Whitworth.
Behold, Palassi.
We built a fake luxury store in Los Angeles and filled it with Payless shoes. The guests at our grand opening party had no idea.
Guests invited to check out what looked like a luxury shoe shop.
They're elegant, sophisticated.
I just think it's so classy.
And I could tell it was made with high quality material.
A $35 shoe going for $645, an 1,800% markup. Store owners sat on their heels as fashion influencers emptied their wallets.
I would pay $400, $500. Yeah, people are gonna be like, where'd you get those? Those are amazing.
Then they're let in on the prank.
These are actually from Payless.
You've got to be kidding me.
Shut up. Are you serious?
But those shoppers were refunded their money and they got to keep the shoes.
David, Payless calling it a provocative social experiment designed to challenge today's image-conscious culture. Either way, it was an effective PR stunt.
Yeah.
David.
Clearly a marketing ploy, but they paid. Kana, thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think, first of all, can I just say that Payless is a genius? I don't know who's up there, but the fact that the time that we live in is crazy, because we will literally flock and flood anything that has the tag luxury on there.
Some.
And some. But a majority, which is crazy. And Payless was selling the same shoes that you can buy for $15, $35 for $604 and $1,500. They had people buying regular shoes for crazy prices. You can go to Flight Club and get a release that don't release for another 5-6 years with the money that you spending on a Payless shoe.
It's kind of interesting because most times people buying shoes, they know this is the shoe that I want.
Right.
I'm waiting on this one, and this is the one that I'll pay hundreds for. That's understandable. If you're a sneakerhead or a shoe person that's like that, but to just buy any old shoe for $600 and something, it's you just a person that's probably a spender. You don't care spending, you like it and it's cool.
Right.
And you got duped by the title luxury.
You got duped. Straight duped. They got their money back, but just the idea.
The idea of you being told that it's luxury, and then you find out like, no, it's really Paylessy.
It's really Paylessy. Paylessy.
Paylessy.
Yo, they really they really smart about that. Paylessy.
Creative minds.
Creative
man.
minds. And
Intuitive.
that ends up being what people actually do. Like they just create creative ways to get people to buy.
You have to be outside of the norm and outside of the box to grab anybody's attention and grab that $600 out their pocket.
Fact. That's
For
a
real.
fact. And it wasn't even nothing about, it's just like it had the same, like, well, it had Palassi. I seen the little video, which the video's on the, oh wait, y'all already watching the video. So y'all just seen the video. But it was on there and it said Palassi and like, it's nothing, it's just real clean cut, like almost like an Apple store.
It also brings you to the fact of presentation is so important when it comes to consumerism. You know, like if it's presented as if it should be priced high, you know, then people are going to assume that they should pay high.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's shout out to Payless for doing that. And
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to him for getting the money back, because any other business, that shows the character of, I might go to Payless and buy some shoes now. Like that just showed the character of the company and the CEOs or whoever actually put this together, because any other company would have took their money.
Much integrity.
And just kept it. But they was like, nah, we just want to do a little prank on social media influencers to see if they will buy these shoes. You know, our normal $35 shoes.
That was so innovative, and really round of applause to them, because that was really innovative.
Yeah, so shout out to Payless, because that was
We all done shopped at Payless before.
I might actually go and try to look at some of their shoes and trend them. Trend some Payless. But I'm going to say I got it from Palassi. Palassi.
You ever heard Tarjay?
Tarjay.
Don't act like you know about Tarjay.
You heard Tarjay. I should have Amber here so she could say Tarjay, because that's where she shopped at.
Yes.
Okay, so another thing before we get into the topic. One of my coworkers, one of my black coworkers, I want to just put that out there.
Descriptive word.
Real descriptive. He said African Americans can file for dual citizenship within the United States. So that means you are considered a dual citizen within the United States, because after Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, he did not actually make African American citizens within the country. He just made them freed people. So they were almost like an independent people, almost like Native Americans or somebody like that, which I thought was interesting, because he said his son is an attorney or something like that, and he worked downtown or what have you.
I wonder how does the point of being considered, what was it, 3/5 or something like that?
3/5 of a man.
3/5 of a person. I wonder how does that factor into those, you know, like
my toe was American, but nothing else was.
Yeah, like
I don't know, but when he was explaining it to me, he basically said like, dual citizenship, you don't got to pay taxes. I heard the you don't got to pay taxes part and was like, yo, give me all the information.
I need the information.
I need all the information, because if we can do that, because it's technically it's a loophole in the system.
Yeah.
So it's a loophole
Always.
in how they wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, just like the loophole how they preserved slavery.
Yeah.
So it's more so I want to figure out what's going on.
I want more information.
I want to know more information so I can know how to better serve my people and give them the information that they need. Right.
So let me ask you this question, as far as it pertains to dual citizenship, meaning too. As an African American person, do you feel that you are
as a black man?
As a black man,
yeah, I don't like African American.
It's
too politically correct.
I'm just using that particular term to emphasize African and American. Do you feel as though you're a African and an American, and that you deserve some type of dual citizenship? Not even deserve, because I don't want to use that word. Of course, we're deserving.
Yeah,
our ancestors already paid our way.
Yeah.
But you know, just how does that make you feel?
You know what? I feel like I deserve to have that dual citizenship, because
and the benefits that come with it, whatever they may be,
exactly.
And they shall be grand. They should be grand.
Absolutely, because
reparations included.
That's my reparation. That's your reparation. Give us all dual citizenship. We don't gotta pay taxes. Yeah. Let y'all pay taxes. Y'all are the ones who
pay our way, please.
Pay our way.
Black people in America, multicultural, mixed race people included.
Hispanics
and Native
Americans.
We all want
black
our
people. Give us our coin back.
And black people, we got a big part of building this country. A huge,
absolutely,
if not all, because of course we can't say we did it all.
We ain't do it all.
But we did so much.
We did enough.
So much that don't play with our great grandkids. Give them their reparations. Give them their tax free.
You know what?
Living and all of that.
I think that will be a perfect thing for reparations, though.
Yeah, I would surely take it.
Give us dual citizenship within the country.
I don't have to pay taxes on my house, on my car. I don't want to pay taxes at the grocery store. 8%. Do you see what color I am?
8%.
What?
I am African American. African American.
I would like to speak to your manager.
African with a capital A. American with a lowercase a.
We in here.
No taxes.
Thank you.
This is my no tax card.
You want your receipt?
Not my green card. This is my no tax card.
Tax exempt, baby.
Tax exempt for life. But nah, I think that's interesting, and we will relay that to you guys once we figure it out. As we get
more information, we will definitely research this.
I did look it up a little bit when I was at work. Was supposed to be watching the kids, but I was researching it.
You was watching with one eye and researching with one
Yes, I was watching with one eye and researching with the other eye, and I cannot find anything. It's more so dual citizenship with countries within Africa, but not dual citizenship within the country. So that has to really come from the books.
It's already before research commences. You already know that it's something that's not going to be easily found.
Right.
It's Waldo right now.
Yeah.
And where the freak is Waldo? Because for one, they already said it way long time ago. I learned this when I was like in elementary. You want to keep something from a black person, put it in the book.
Right.
and
no, that's a
even
fact.
Though we have,
especially law books, because it's hard. I was just talking to I take business law and ethics at school, and I was just talking to her like we was taking a test, and we can do an open book test because
I love that.
it's so hard to grasp the concept with how the jargon that they use within the law arena. And I was like, it's interesting because they will explain something in the law jargon, and then they will say which means, and then they'll explain it regularly. Like they'll say, oh, this, when you use this and you turn it into this and you do that, and then they say which means you go from point A to point B.
Like, why did you complicate it first?
You just complicated all this stuff.
But that's another thing. That's another tactic. Is multiple languages. And I don't want to segue too far, but this kind of reminds me of some information that I was, kind of privy to just recently. How, black people in America, we have this dialect that, is considered Ebonics.
Right.
That's our language. But how our native tongue is, in our African mind, is just transforming these words that we hear in a standard English proper way to our own conceptual way of presenting the words, thinking about them, understand them, everything.
Right.
So that's a lot of the ways that students have to learn. You have to take it one way in school and then turn it into
completely transform it.
I know this is what it really
completely
means.
Transform. And they don't want to take that extra step because that adds more work. And that's a problem because we don't all, my school, they just read post-traumatic slave syndrome. And in that book, it says African people are used to storytelling in order
We're oracle people by nature.
People, right. So in that way of learning, we hold on, we grasp more. When you turn a lesson plan into a story, we will grasp the concept better than if you just say, well, 1 + 1 is 2.
And I definitely can agree with that because I feel like as a person, I have a really strong love for learning, but I hated school.
I can't stand school.
And I always thought, how could I love learning so much? Like I would be up in the middle of the night trying to learn something, teaching myself something. How could I love learning so much but hate school so much?
Right.
And it just, as you learn and grow, you see that game of always having to get something one way and regurgitate it or completely changing stuff. Like it's like double working when you in school versus just learning,
Right.
But
that's what it is. But
it is what it is.
We'll let y'all know.
You work 3
for that
times
redemption.
harder.
We'll let y'all know about that redemption.
Coming soon.
Reasonably. soon.
All right.
Gems. Gems. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the quote real quick. Just have patience with all things, but first of all with yourself.
Definitely.
Have patience with yourself first. So let's go into the topic. I mean, that was kind of the topic though. I like that segue from African American dual citizenship into what do you want to be when you grow up?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Like what?
Oh, I don't even know.
What you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, man. I want to be awesome.
Awesome.
I want to be an honest person.
Honest.
I want to be fly.
Fly.
So fly.
So fly.
All of that. I want to be
Super
happy.
fly. Super hot fire?
All that.
Super hot fire.
Hotter than hot.
Hotter than hot.
What you want to be when you grow up?
Ooh, I'm gonna be wealthy. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be wealthy.
Just wealthy.
I just want to be wealthy. I don't want to put me in a box because wealthy is not a box. Wealthy is a whole bunch of things. A whole bunch of things. A whole bunch of pillars and boxes.
Literally.
And you go in and you go out, but it's a whole bunch of doors within those
Health
boxes.
is wealth.
Health is wealth. I want to be healthy too. Yeah, healthy and wealth. Well, health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
I want to be healthy.
And it's funny because that's like a question that is always asked. Like, I'm always hearing it.
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up? And it's like a profound
and
question.
we work with kids. So
we're
we
hearing
always say, like, Ms. Augustinelli was just asking that, what do you want to be? She was talking to,
If I can go back in time and somebody asked me this as a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a kid still.
Yeah, I want to be a kid right now. I still want to be a kid.
No, literally.
That's why we do this, because I want to be a kid. I want to talk. Just
Tap
talk.
into the imagination and the play.
And create.
Creativity.
Like we used to, but creating now is not creating from back in the day.
Not at all.
Like creating now in elementary school as I work day in and day out, the creating is not the same.
No.
Like I don't know why. Maybe it's because the technological era has came and shifted over to the point where everything is. I just seen a meme. I think I seen a meme. It was a meme or something on the internet, maybe Facebook, and it was 90s. They was bringing them in like it was basketball, and it was bringing them in the house when it was dark, and then now they're dragging them out the house to the basketball. But they have the little game system in their hand. Like, so I don't know if since gaming and technology has advanced so much, because we came up in a very
what my mom was dragging me in the house. Well, it was dark and we was still trying to play. Right. And she was like, "Get your butts in here."
Because we grew up in a very unique era to where we kind of got a taste of the technology.
Yeah, when we was growing up, that was like the first computers. Like we had a computer in our house.
Right. But we had dial-up
Internet that you get in the mail on the CD.
Get off the phone.
Who on the phone? I'm trying to research something on the computer.
I'm trying to use the internet.
And you get like 5 minutes of internet.
For real.
Play real quick and
the dial-up tone, the AOL, Instant Messenger,
DSL, or whatever it was called, DLS.
So I think, I don't know, maybe technology is pushing our kids to be less creative. I mean, like creative in the sense of they love art. Like I feel like at some point, not completely, but the art teacher will become kind of obsolete. I
don't know. I kind of disagree. And then, this is a fun fact that you all don't know about me, but I'm an actual art teacher by profession.
Gems. I said that for a reason.
But I don't know. I don't think that kids are less creative. I think that kids are very creative, but maybe it's the imagination factor. They may feel a little bit. This is the way I feel, and I'm, not a kid, but I feel like sometimes there's no opportunity to be as creative as you would want to be, or as imaginative, or as playful, or because, one, time is a factor, and then two, with so much limitations.
That's a fact.
Because I don't think kids are less creative. I don't think creativity can die, period. Because it's something that's in your soul. Like it's not really something that can die. I think it's just how it's played out in just so many distractions and fast pace of the new technology world that we live in that you don't get to see it all the time. But I know kids are still very, very creative.
They are.
And they talk to themselves, and they're really probably talking to imagination friends and all of that stuff. So
my
I don't
nephew
think creative can die.
talk on his hand phone. He dial, and He dial and he be having all his friends talking on their phone with their hand to each other.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think it's a disconnect.
Yeah, it's definitely a shift. It's changing in a
There's a
major
shift,
way.
and we don't know what that shift will bring.
Hopefully, some very tech savvy, creative, innovative builders out there.
It will though. I think that in order, like we have to find a way to preserve our creativity as adults in order to successfully hone and craft the creativity in our youth.
Okay.
And I think that when we do that, or how we do that, we have to continue to be creative. So we have to continue to create jobs to where we create. I was just reading this article about one of the new Congress members, who's a lady. She's a Native American, one of the Native American Congress women, and she is actually hiring. It's a New York woman, and she is actually hiring creatives, so creative thinkers, to join her team to help create creative policies to help push us forward.
Listen, that's where we at now. Like I was just listening to something earlier, and they spoke about how the right brain, people who navigate life from the right brain, that's the artistic side. Am I right? The right brain.
Yeah.
And they were speaking about how those types of people in particular will be more advanced as the future, as the present becomes the future, because of the way that the world is. Before, when we were younger, a lot of times it was the analytical, smart, intellectual type people,
right?
Because it was more so, you become a lawyer, or you become an accountant, or something that's very important that you have to know. And all of those type of jobs is becoming just computers. Like we don't need it as much because computers are taking those jobs, and you need to be more creative. You need to be imaginative, just like Palassi. That was innovative. Like, and that's the type of energy that you need, and you need to be very creative in this world because we're taking a shift. It's more about energy and what people connect to and what people relate to and how it stimulates them versus it just being anything. Like I can say at my job, every document that I get that I'm supposed to, use as a working tool or present to other people, I change it and I make it my own and I make it relative to me because I don't just like just plain, I'm a creative person, so I have to make it relate to me, and I use different fonts or bold or color, and that's just where we moving, so I know you're gonna have to hire artsy people. You can't just be charts, graphs, and data, because nobody, just like you were saying with the law books, nobody looks at certain things and just knows what it is. It has to relate, and that's why
interpreted.
Yeah, and that's why the Oracle background that we have, that's why it's like that, because you have to make it personal for it to sit and really last with you. It has to really touch you, and a chart just won't do it for me.
Nah, it won't do it. And it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
That's her name?
Yep, she's hiring. Hold on. Wait,
I'm gonna email her my resume.
She looking for deputy chief of staff, a legislative director, district press secretary, a digital content manager, a scheduler, a staff assistant, a district director, a caseworker, a community organizer. I can't talk. A community organizer, a financial administrator, and an intern. And she just want
whatever you need.
Like it said, Ocasio 2018. Looks like a lot of people applying. What advice would you give them to make their application stand out? And she said, be yourself. Don't let boxes limit you.
I won't even lie. When I was in college, like my last, moments of college, I kind of remember like the importance being placed in resume building and your resume looking the part and looking professional and blah 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 blah. But then it's like once I was like getting really close to graduating, I started learning more about different types of resumes. Resumes are so not the basic what they were before. You can make them so grand. There's so many different. It's not just a one pager. hitter, objectives, summary, experience. It's not that.
Right.
You know, I've seen them where they're movable websites that's like pictures included and videos. And I think that's really what employers are looking for. I want to know you. You know, what can you produce? If this is your resume, that's exciting to me. Now I want to see more, you know, and making that interest level there. Like,
and that's you know what? That's interesting because I've been reading some articles or just coming across articles and and one of them, so I'm at a point right now because I'm building the network and I'm at a point where I'm looking for creative thinkers to help run my business, and I'm going through school and I'm working full time. So I got a lot of things going on. I got a lot of moving parts, but I'm at a point where I want to just halt on school because at the time I'm learning more doing my business than learning business in the books. And I had a conversation yesterday with one of the shows that's renting out the studio, and he was trying to say, well, you should go to school because like, he's like, well, I can't tell you what to do, but I think that you should go to school because that degree kind of pushed you over the top in the sense of like, if, you know, I never got this, then I wouldn't be able to be in this, you know, let's say be in this, I don't know, like I wouldn't be able to be in this position to kind of market myself. And I was like,
I so agree with that statement in particular. Like, let me just say, like, as far as me coming from a historically black college / university, HBCU, as far as like coming from that environment, it was such a great environment to market yourself. Like, I wish that I actually would have hesitated to go into school and learned more about myself, learned more about business, and then took those skills to college that I could market and build myself and make my following and all of that right there at the same time as I'm learning, you know. But it's kind of like, you know, it's better if you can go back to school with that knowledge, you know, because you know exactly what you want to do. It's not just like, I'm here so that when I leave, I know what to do. No, I know what I'm doing now. This is intentional. And when you leave school, you're going to be in so much of...
You're going to be in a better space.
Yeah.
So like my boy Dev, he actually is going back to school to get his MBA. So his master's in business. But he's doing that not because he needs to.
He want to learn more
about
business.
He's doing that because he's in business. He's gotten to a point, like a threshold, to where he needs to kind of jump over it. So, and he's providing a service to people. So now to better assist,
you have to make yourself marketable.
Right. To better assist in that service, he's going to business for that particular concentration. So when he has, you know, so when he go back to his clients and everything, he can say, okay, let's work. I already know this, that, and the third, because now school is serving a different purpose. School is not serving the purpose to where you are actually going to get a job. School is serving the purpose to where you're going to better advance yourself in whatever it is that you're doing. So my response to him when he said that was, well, it's a few things about college that you need to know as you grow up. Make sure we connect everything. So as you grow up, there's a few things about college you need to know. One, don't go into college with a whole bunch of financial demands, because what that does is it waters down your experience as a whole, because now you have to split between going to college and, you know, driving your car and keeping gas in your car.
Oh, you mean like
like those. So like one of my things, I always compare myself to Lou, my sister, y'all. But because she had the traditional college experience to where she went to college, she didn't have to worry about nothing. She got dropped off, she came back, and when she went to college, all she had to do was worry about college, school, and all that stuff.
How lovely that sounds. When I was in college, I worked like 3 jobs the entire time I was
just
there.
Just to live off of the decisions that you made prior to going to college.
Dang.
So what I told him was, college, you have to take advantage of college when you have nothing to do whatsoever. Like when you go in as a freshman, take advantage of all the resources, all the networking, like any sororities or fraternities that you might want to join, student government, like all those things while you're young. Because like right now, where I'm at right now, I cannot go to college like how I want to and maintain and survive and live, because I have all these financial demands outside of college.
But at the same time, and that goes back to being patient with yourself and kind of you know, knowing yourself.
Right.
Because once you know yourself and you're patient with yourself, you can go there and make money doing things like that's what we say in the creative mind and the
Right.
different atmosphere.
Haircuts.
You know,
That's when a lot of people learn how to do haircuts.
yeah, doing hair. Like that's what Tarek did. My brother, you know, he went to college and he cut everybody here.
Everybody.
When I was in school, I was doing everybody here.
Yo, my first semester when I was at OCC, I was cutting hair.
like I'm not a barber, but
I still got the pictures and
Gotcha.
my boy Don, what up, bro?
bless up.
But yeah, so it was more so as you grow up, you got to understand, like, use college as a tool.
It's
so
definitely
just
a
because
tool.
I'm saying I might not go back, which I'm probably not gonna go back next semester, don't mean I'm not gonna finish. I'm just getting all my ducks in a row to where I know I can pay for
Let
college
it work
out of
for
pocket.
you. Yep.
College is gonna work for me. I'm not gonna work for college because college is the biggest scam in American history. Just so you know, I thought that buying a car was the biggest scam, but college is the biggest scam in American history.
And credit.
And credit, but
credit is the same. It's all of it.
Credit is the same, but you control like your credit cards and things of that nature. College, they tell you go to college, and then when you get out of college, you can't find no job because you don't have any experience. But they expect you to start paying back that loan 6 months after you finish college.
Do you think that's everybody's experience? You think that's the experience of the majority?
Well, it depends. It depends on how you utilize college. How do you market yourself in college? Because it's always about who you know, not what you know. Definitely. So if you are connected to fraternities, sororities, or like
internships, professors that have networks, whatever.
Student government, those type of things, then you typically have those doors open as you're leaving college. But if you go to college to just go to college and you just going to just the party and you're not building those connections throughout
or
the college.
you scared to network because you're just a quiet, shy person. So you like, I really want to help people and I want to be this really awesome therapist, but you scared to talk.
Right. That is holding you back. Because then now you got all these loans to pay back and you got to work at Home Depot and that's another thing. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about people who get a degree but end up working in a totally different field than what their degree is in.
Even a degree that even a field that you didn't even need a degree, like maybe retail, not as a store manager or something, but just
when I was working at Depot, the assistant store manager had his architecture degree, and he was a store manager at Home Depot, and he used to tell us all the time, I got my bachelor's in architecture and I can build houses from the ground up, but I make more money at Home Depot.
Wow.
So I shouldn't. So to him, it was like I wasted my time going to college.
Sometimes I have a lot of regrets about college too. I wouldn't trade my experience. I wouldn't I wouldn't say that it was a mistake or anything like that. But I always think about it quite often. And I think about just how many years and how much time you put in. How when I went to college, I was 17 years old.
Right.
And I wasn't ready to make what seemed like then a decision that's going to alter so much in your life. But now I don't think that.
Right.
But you're 17 and it just seemed like, oh my God, I'm making a decision that's going to decide what career path I go to, that I'm going to stay in for 40 and 50 years and retire from. And and I'm in the same field that I got my degree in. I have an education degree. I'm working within the education field, but I don't know. It just sometimes there are regrets there. But I mean, one thing, school is not for everybody. And like I said, I'm a lifelong learner. I have a passion for learning, and it doesn't matter about if I go to school or not, because I'm still gonna, these loans, they're gonna have to be forgiven. Yeah. I'm gonna keep working in the nonprofit field. Y'all have to
dual
forgive
citizenship.
and this dual citizenship, you gotta kick in too.
Yeah.
But I mean, you live and you learn.
Yeah, well, right. And that's what we're here to talk about. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a strong advocate for going to school when you are ready. When you feel you are ready, you go to school, because college ain't going nowhere.
It's not.
It might get more expensive, but there's no timetable. So, like, when we're in high school, they typically say, go to college. You don't even know what you want to do. You don't even know what all of the careers are and
out
you
there.
end up taking a liberal arts degree and getting this general degree, then have to go back again to get a concentration in something. So I would recommend doing what you love to do. So whatever it is that you love to do, whether it's gaming, you can go for like graphic design or something like that. Or if it's like kids.
If you're a foodie and you just like eating, it's people that get paid. Listen, school is not for everybody. In the time that we living in, you don't have to go to school to make money. Period.
Nah.
There are kid millionaires. There's people who has never went to school, you know, and they making money. So if it's about money, you don't have to go to school for money. But like you saying, if it's something that you really want to elevate because you know this is something that you're good at, like Dev, you know, he's good at the money thing.
And he ain't even doing what his degree is in.
Yeah,
his degree was in psych, I think. His degree, his bachelor's and master's was in psych.
See, one thing I can imagine too, that we all live this life and it's more so a journey. So, you know, even if that's why I don't take back going to school, because I know it's part of my journey.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't have went so many $1,000s in debt to do that. And to work the job. My job, you don't need no degree for it.
Nah.
You don't need to have a bachelor's degree at all.
I mean, my job, you need a bachelor's, but I got an associate's, but it was about who I knew.
Yeah.
And then it was about my experience. Because in this field, I got, we got 10 years.
Oh, my God.
10 years, and we in our early 20s. Like, we got 10 years in the youth development field. We even started working with the youth when we was youth at 14. I remember they was like, "How you get this job? You our age." Yeah, but guess what?
I'm mature.
I'm getting paid.
No, I remember my very first like real paid job was for the city, and I was working with kids, and I was a junior rec leader, and it was just funny because it was people in the rec that was older than me.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to I wasn't trying to tell them what to do. I was like, you grow. But you know, it's just a fact of, like you said, who you know and the integrity of the person. Like if they see, like, you know, you have work ethic, you really trying, you passionate, and that goes with being in alignment. Like, you know, this is what I want to do. People see it. Now they propelling you forward. They pushing you. Like, here's an opportunity. Jump on this, you know? So.
Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like as we kind of wrap on the college section of it, college is for you when you know it's for you.
Right.
Like, but you got to be patient in that with yourself and being ready for that college experience. But take it for what it's worth. Like, go and, you know, do what you got to do. Do whatever is within your comfort zone, but also outside of your comfort zone, because that's when you grow the most, when you're outside of your comfort zone. So, just, you know, I'm going to go back to college. I mean, I'm going to finish my degree. That ain't nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's easy. School is easy. If you can believe it, you can achieve it.
But I'd rather fund my own way than continue to let the United States fund my way and then tell me that I got to pay back.
With some interest.
With interest. Like, I'm on some, like, I know I'm going to make my money, so let me make my money first, and then I'll go to school on my time and be able to sit down and kind of read, like, actually read these books and not be on Quizlet.
Or SparkNotes.com.
Yeah, SparkNotes or something. You know, SparkNotes charge people now.
Wow.
I went on SparkNotes when I was at Brockport because we had to read a book. So I ain't really read it, but I ended up getting the audiobook. That's another thing. Get audiobooks.
Yeah. Because
that's just as good as the paper book. But I like to annotate sometimes. But anyways, SparkNote paid, like, they charge people for the notes now.
I would leave it.
SparkNotes helped me through a lot of reading, summer reading and stuff for the district.
Yeah.
For the district.
Don't say that.
Yeah, and I mean, they can't take my diploma back. So what else? Growing up, what else? Anything else?
Yeah, I would just say, like, learn to, like, have discernment and think for yourself. You know?
Like that.
Because a lot of the things that the parents and the adults and the people that's been there and I got mine, you got to get yours. Those type, you know, it's always is promoting the way they think things should be, but the world is constantly changing. So you have to really pay attention to yourself and to the outside world so you can know how you want to move, and you got to move with discernment. Everybody not for you. Everything not for everybody.
Facts.
And you know, do what feels right and do what feels good. Don't invest so much and be so loyal to things that don't even feel right. Like, I don't even enjoy this, but I'm just doing it because I went to college and I got the degree and this is the field I chose, so I'm stuck here. Or I'm making this good money and I'm stuck here. But you know, do what you really are engaged and feel passionate about. Do something that ignites, you know, that feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely.
Look for this redemption.
Look for it.
Because it's coming in a reasonable set of time.
Mm-hmm.
So love, forgiveness, and compassion.
Yes.
What we got on that? What let's start with one of them. I don't know which one.
All
which
right.
one we talking about?
Forgiveness. The past is over. Forgiveness means giving up all hope of a better past. So I'll read it again. The past is over. Forgiveness means giving up all hope of a better past, by Jack Kornfield.
That's crazy. I just read that one the other day.
This is a very interesting quote to me.
Giving up all hope for a better past.
Can I say this again, but in a mean way? Like in a real rough.
Yeah.
The past is done. That done happened already. You know what I'm saying? Forget it. Hang it up if you think you could go back and change something. Yeah. You think you're going to make it better.
Yeah.
Forgive. Let it go.
Let that go. Let that hurt go.
Let that old hurt go.
Let that hurt go, bro.
Let it go.
For real. I think that's profound.
Glow up.
Yeah, glow up. I think that's a profound statement because a lot of people use the past to try to propel them into the future. But what the past does is it starts to put up walls because we're always reflecting on the past. This person did this to me, so I have to do this. This happened to me, so I have to react in this way. Those black people just got shot, so I have to do this. Like, it's okay, so it's almost like the Black History Celebration, in which I want to acknowledge the past, but I don't want to live in it. I don't want to relive it.
I think forgiveness is it's freedom. And I remember
forgiveness is freedom.
It's freedom. And it's so crazy because I know some people will be looking like, what? Lancey saying that? But y'all, when I was younger, just recently, I'm still learning. I never wanted to forgive because I said, you hurt me, F that, I never forgive you, because I thought that forgiveness meant, I don't know, I just thought it was something more than, so forgiveness is so simple.
Right.
Freedom can be so simple. But, it's the context in which you realize what it is. Like, forgive for me. And they always said that forgiveness is for yourself. It's not for the other person. I'm like, what you mean by that? No, this person did something to me. I don't forgive them. I hate them forever. Like, and I was like on that type of time. Right. But forgiveness is freedom. Once you let that go, like you said, glow up. Let that hurt go.
Sis.
And it's scary. If you can't forgive, it's so scary. And the thing that drives me to learn more about how to forgive is seeing people that's 60 years old,
still bitter,
great grandparents, older, elders, where you should be blissful and peaceful. You still mad about something your parents did to you, your grandparents did to you, and they're not even living anymore. And that is so scary.
And they
you still hurt.
They express it in different ways though, which is crazy. So like they won't express it in a very outward, explicit way. It'll be real implicit, like those little jabs. Like just to their name, like even just to their name. If their name come up, like I ain't never like that, or they isn't that, or they. I remember
let
that time.
Hurt
like,
go.
Yeah, let that hurt go.
Yeah. And that's where I'm coming. Like I don't want to be a complainer. I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to be mad. Even if somebody do something to me today, I want to be able to forgive because life is so short.
Mad short.
You don't know when your next when your last day is. None of us do. We all got an end date. Period. Right. We got a start date and an end date. But when is that? Date.
Pops would say.
Yeah, and you don't know when it is. So why spend time in a negative vibration, in a lower, hateful, grieving, just bitter? Why resonate in that?
And one of the kids asked, when it was me, Augustinelli, and somebody else, and they asked, "Does Mr. England ever get mad?" And I'm like, very rarely.
Yeah.
I don't. Me as a person, I always put myself in position to not be. I avoid things before it happens. Why? Because I don't have time to fix. I don't have the time to try to fix negative behavior or negative vibrations.
It's so good to be like a preventative type of person, to pre-plan and you can't control everything, of course. You can't control everything. To put as much effort as you can to set up in the flavor that you like. It's so good to be like that because it's better to set it up in it need little small tweaks than to be so reactive that you have to wait and see, you know, how you're going to respond to everything and how you're going to react. That's what anger is.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's going on, but you so passionate because you didn't set nothing up to make it anything but you being the victim of whatever the case may be.
And that actually goes back to our discussion we had about the drama, like the whole drama thing with you know, at
people
work.
having drama, right?
Just people having drama. It's they don't have the capacity to kind of just let that go. Like made a comment the other day to
stop name dropping.
Oh.
These
they
people
don't listen anyway.
They don't know, but listen.
Well,
these
she don't care anyways. But he made the comment about they said something about snack time, and then he made the comment to which I guess she heard him where he was like, he's seen how many kids was in the room, and then said a number, and then he made a snide remark saying like, you don't need that many. It's only 2 people in the room. Tell her to bring her own snacks or something along those lines.
Smart,
and that
shady.
was like that's. I mean, it's shady, but it's like, okay, let me choose my battles wisely.
Definitely.
Like, why would I put myself in my workplace in the position to address this? Now that's drama. Like once you go past that part, it's drama. I understand.
But and that's what we were saying with the context of forgiveness. If you still have baggage, if you have bags, whether they light or heavy. You have bags, so you're willing to take on more, you know, because you have the capacity to. So it's like this triggers, you being a smart ass and being a jerk triggers something that I never forgave or healed from a person or whatever.
Right.
And now you putting so much fuel into something that who cares? Like, you was shady to me, and I don't care. I'm still about to do whatever I got to do.
Right.
Like, so.
Right. And it's like it's almost like living it within your truth. There's always gonna be somebody who doesn't know your truth, but always challenges your truth. So it's like,
and why is that?
If I don't know.
Leave me alone.
Because they don't live in their truth, probably.
Yeah.
So, but if my whole thing is, which shout out to Charlamagne the God, because his book Black Privilege: Opportunity Comes to Those Who Create It was actually pretty dope, and it actually kind of cemented the idea of living within your truth. Y'all should actually go and listen. I mean, go listen, or no, he don't have an audiobook for that one. But y'all should actually go and read that book, because even though he's a radio personality and a lot of people don't like him because of his personality or his rhetoric or his jokes or whatever, there's gems in that book that you would have to. It's almost like these shows. Like, we're talking about things that would advance us as a people, but it's not very explicit. You got to read in between the lines to find those gems. So I think that's how that book was. That's how that book was made. It's his story, but in a way to where he's dropping gems. Like, no matter what happened, he basically made sure that he lived within his truth, no matter who addressed him and how they addressed him. So basically, to say that, it was to say, if you're living in your truth, then you don't have to address all those other things coming to you. All that negative energy. Like, I live in my truth every day. So no matter what negative energy comes to me, I can deflect it because I know what the real problem is.
And it's something that we could speak about as if it's easy. But when I say it's so difficult.
Oh, it's hard.
It's so difficult because you know who you are. You look at yourself in the mirror. You listen to the inner voices. You know when nobody's there, you know yourself. When everybody's there, you know yourself. But sometimes it's hard because people have a label attached to you.
Right.
And they have already put you in the box. They already sized you up from what shoes you got on, how you look, what outfit you wearing, to something you said one time and now you this type of person. So sometimes it's hard. And as human beings, I think that we have to be willing to evolve and contradict things that we've said before and experiences that we had. I might have thought that one time, but I don't think that now.
Right.
And have to have the confidence enough to really say, like, I'm not there anymore. Yeah. That's how I was before. I don't think that way no more. And this is my new feelings on that topic. Like,
when you said that, I thought about Obama. I remember when he was in office, he obviously he had an outright explicit support for the homosexual,
Mm-hmm.
the LGBTQ community.
Whew, a lot of letters.
A lot of letters. And somebody, whoever, hater, Obama hater, whoever, they
Don't hate 44.
They
That's our
don't
guy.
hate 44. They released a video and said, "Well, Obama used to say this about the LGBT community, LGBTQ community, and
Get it right.
he get it right. I don't want to make no enemies. I don't want to make no enemies.
Love is love.
Love is love. But he was saying something that was completely contradicted what he was preaching in the present day.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, you have to go there. It was a time, so that's still an evolving idea of
I'm different now. I wasn't thinking in context of me and the whole nation.
Right.
I wasn't thinking for everybody. I was thinking for just whatever context I was in back then.
Right.
Things changed.
And I think
my mind changed.
Right. Your minds change. And that's how we're supposed to grow up. That's how we're supposed to grow up. We have to grow with time. And I think, briefly, that's why the educational system is failing so much, because we're not growing with the time.
At all.
Like, we're still, Mr. E was just saying, I ain't name drop, but I mean, that's what we call him.
Yeah.
Mr. E, we was just talking the other day, and he was telling me about how, back when he was at, whatever school, and all the music teachers, no. This was way back when, like, even with Miss Pratt. Oh, I'm just naming that. But when she was in the district, and he said he think her and a lot of the big music teachers like advocated to get these new books so they can do whatever they do with them. And instead of using them now, like a lot of the music teachers now, they're saying we don't want them, and they're sending them back. So now they spend thousands of dollars on these books.
And I think too, the turnover time is too long for school, and it's because a lot of the dollars get pushed into the wrong places. People that really see this is the. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future I become within the education field some type of policy maker or something, because I'm always looking for a better way to do things, and there's always a better way. And I don't agree with the fact that people, these higher ups, people that's like in the higher up positions that are not truly in the field, the actual, day-to-day field, those are the people who make the policies, and they make the big decisions and sign off and need the vote to go past. And the people who are actually doing that particular work don't even have a say so. So by the time that everything is said and done and they get it, it's different now. Mm-hmm. It's totally different. So all of these thousands of dollars worth of books are just sitting here collecting dust now.
That's a fact. And I mean, I don't know. We done had so many different conversations. Or
school needs a transformation. School needs to evolve. School, SCHOOL, needs to glow up.
Glow up.
For real.
They need to let go of the past, because
this not 1920s. This not the industrial time.
It's not depression model. School educational model does not. It's not effective anymore.
Let's stop making schools look like prisons.
And just so y'all know, depression education model was just to do that, to breed nationalists within the country. So people that are trained to learn and then go to the military. That's what the depression model is. And the United States of America's educational model is built on the back of the depression model. So now that we're in a state of creativity, we have to start to shift the focus of education to a creative state.
One thing we can do to incorporate creativity more so than just the arts, going to art class and going to music class. We need to have music right up in the classroom, because kids learn from singing, dancing. If you just leave some kids,
deja vu right now.
If you leave some kids alone by themselves and watch them, I can guarantee a song is gonna break out. Period.
Was you on the
or some type of hand game beat something?
Remember when we went to the U of R for the thing, and they was doing that
shout out to the University of Rochester.
Yeah, shout out to the University of Rochester. When the sixth graders and I think we had 4th through 6th on there, and they started doing that like that. Yeah, we are whatever.
That
but
song.
that like even then like
big tune.
This is something where they don't have they don't got no technology. They shouldn't have no technology.
Yeah, they ain't have any
technology. But they on the bus and they're riding. So now they're forced to be creative.
A full bus
and
of
it
kids
went and I didn't even
was
know
in unison.
I
didn't even know the song.
Yeah, I didn't even know that existed. But like one person started, and then the next person started, and then the next thing you know, the whole bus was.
But let me tell you, even today, one student, she's a 6th grader. She was doing some patty cat beat, like whatever hand game, and it was like a really nice beat. And I'm like, yo, that sounds good. And then another one started doing it, and I was like, yo, can y'all do that in a domino? And it's like, yeah, Miss Lancey, this is nothing. Boom. Then she did it. Then the next one started, and then they all did it like a ripple. And I was like, how many other kids noticed? And they was like, we all know it. And I'm just like, y'all gonna perform?
We all know it.
Yeah, I'm like, y'all gonna perform it. But it's just the fact that when it's who taught them that? Where did they get it from? But because it's music, it's so easy to retain because it's tapping into that right brain.
Even like
it
the
feels
floss.
good.
Even like the floss. It was a little
floss?
It was a little white boy that did the floss.
What's that?
The
yeah.
little white boy at the awards, and I thought he was fake. I thought that was like a green screen, and but he was actually there doing the floss. But even then, like every kid is doing the floss.
Who don't know what it is? I never knew the name, but I know that.
Well, I didn't know the name until they did that little assembly when they was all
named it.
Yeah, but like that's actually the floss. It's called the floss, but they named it, and they was like, I'm like, what the floss is? But anyways,
it's that.
Yeah, it's that one. I was like, oh, that's what it's called.
I've seen it before.
But yeah, so I was just talking to I can't name drop. Teeth. Yo, but I was just talking, and I was looking at the music board, and it says our students is too hot to handle, but handle was a play on words because Handel was the one of the classical musicians, like
and then
Beethoven.
They had another one that was Welcome Bach.
Yeah,
like
Bach.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Welcome
like,
back.
See, this is the problem. That's why our kids don't like music because
who is Bach? Who's these
Bach
people?
And Handel and I don't even know who
Beethoven
Handel is, but Beethoven and all them, they are not influencing our kids right now.
Not at all.
They influence
these kids know people that I don't know that I'm not even. I'm like, who's that young who?
Yeah, right. So I feel like they should be on some real, like maybe this might be a little, I don't know, but I just say it like they should be, putting up Swiss Beats on there and like Kanye and people like that.
Shout out to the 21st century educators that's definitely doing stuff like that.
Right.
I seen a couple different teachers incorporating Cardi B into hall passes and
For
saying,
real?
Kiki, are you reading? Are you writing?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, we tried that, but that was a little. It was a little corny.
But it was
corny.
it was to the point of what you're saying.
Not corny, but it was like. Okay, it was like a knock on the door. It was a scratch to the surface, but it didn't reach the potential that it should have did. Only because it was like it's new.
It's new, and it can in the future.
Right.
And it can
so
in the future.
I feel like with that, so like with music class, we need to do more current references. But wait, we need to practice more currently, but we reference the past. Like Kanye wouldn't be Kanye wouldn't be possible if Bach didn't do what he did. Definitely. Or if Beethoven didn't do what he did. So then that's how you learn about Beethoven. That's how you learn about Bach because, or I said
put
Bach.
it into context.
Put it into context. So in almost like a story type thing, going back to Oracle, to where we can connect. Well, if this person didn't exist, then this person probably would never have ever got to this point because this person was kind of like the cornerstone
trailblazer
of just composing music because Kanye is a composer, but it's digitally. Right. Like he hears the same things that a Bach heard or a Beethoven heard or a Handel heard, but he's composing it in a different way. Like Kanye is a musical genius to what he hears and then what he puts down in the computer.
Boy, I really wish I was a producer because I mean that's a unique God-given talent. That's not something that you can necessarily learn, especially on the level of a Swiss Beats or Timberland or but I think
Premiere.
Train up a child. You get introduced to certain things and you feel that this is your interest and you put your passion into it. Is no limits,
right? And even when I was talking to DJ City about like the things that he want to do and like what like because he's a DJ, so the things that go into DJing, I was like, he was explaining to me, I'm like, yo, that's really true because there is STEM in DJing. you just got to understand that DJing is not just putting 2 songs on the turntable and mixing
blending them over.
It's like really, it's timing, it's math.
Yo, it's crazy.
All that stuff.
I'm really interested in music in that kind of way, but like we said, life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, DJing is such an art. It's an art form. It's not just like you said, just doing anything. It's definitely an art form.
Right.
And it's meticulous. Like you have to know what you're doing.
Right. And so as we kind of progress into the future, we gotta understand, or we gotta have those creative thinkers, like how the Alexandria Cortez is doing, to where we gotta have those creative thinkers that thinks outside of the box that we're kind of born in, to push forward these creative initiatives to reform a lot of the things that we need to reform. Prison system. We need to reform the educational system. We need to reform how we do politics, like how J. Cole said, and in brackets off of KOD, like put the funding in an app to where I can choose where my funding go, so I'm more involved. Like imagine if they created like a federal app to where you can choose, so you put in your tax ID or whatever, however they track your funding, and or your social security number, and it's okay, this is how much taxes you've paid to date. Now choose or vote or whatever where you want your funding to go. And then imagine they use
this.
Imagine if they use that data to actually debate on where funding actually goes. Like this is just a preliminary boom, 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 boom.
But citizens get an input.
Right, yeah. Citizens,
it's more than just a vote.
Right. So now, because it's real general now. It's generalized to the point where, okay, we vote in the congresswoman or congressman. And then they listen, quote unquote, to us. And then they take what they listen to from their, district office to DC when they meet with all of the rest of Congress.
But really, it's more so probably about this person gave them a bunch of sponsorships, so now they owe them this favor in return.
And it's favor for a favor. I scratch your back, you scratch my back.
Let's read one more of the love, forgiveness, and compassion cards.
Yes, I'm with it.
So we have compassion here. Cultivate compassion all day and every day. Now, when things are difficult, it's time to practice. So that's a Karen Armstrong quote, and I'm going to read it once more. Cultivate compassion all day and every day. Now, when things are difficult, it's time to practice.
Yo, that's profound too. And I learned that profound word from listening to Super Soul Conversations. Shout out to Oprah.
Definitely.
She say profound all the time. She said, that is really profound.
Profound. That word has a vibration.
That word has a vibration to it. And definitely. I just feel like that right there, like compassion, I gotta stop hitting that. Compassion is something that we kind of know of, but it's pushed by the wayside. Like we don't talk about compassion. It's love, even in the love, forgiveness, compassion. Compassion at the end.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Compassion?
I don't even remember when we was doing that in program, us talking about compassion.
It was just love and forgiveness.
It was love and forgiveness.
I think compassion was added later because it's necessary.
It was love, forgiveness, compassion.
Well, I was doing it before you. I was about to say, I don't think it was compassion in
the original cards. It had compassion in it, but it was always love and forgiveness. Like when we went to the church.
I think before it was even cards, it was no compassion.
Yeah, well, that's compassion
got forgotten about.
Yeah, got forgotten about.
Got forgotten.
Compassion got forgotten about.
Got forgotten. Look, that like grammar. So.
See, it's okay. We create words up here
for real. But yeah,
that's profound though, because we don't practice compassion. Like how we can say, the golden rule: treat others the way we want to be treated. I know a quote.
Others.
I got a quote that was up on the wall before they said that it was painting, but they really not painting no more. But it had a quote on the wall that said, paraphrasing, it basically talked about how we commit the golden rule to memory, but we don't commit it to our actions, type thing. So like we know, if you ask, what's the golden rule? Well, it's
do unto others as you want done to you.
Right. But when we go out into the world, we don't practice it. Nope. That's the same thing with compassion. We know what compassion is, but we don't go out and practice compassion. Only time we practice compassion is when we're little jits.
When you learning your manners before you become bitter and stuff.
Right. And that I don't know. I feel like when we're talking about compassion, we have to understand that that's a skill that you learn.
Compassion?
Yes. I mean, forgiveness is a skill you learn too. But compassion is harder because it's not something that's common.
Yeah.
as you grow up.
And just this quote, like, cultivate compassion all day and every day, like always, be the person who I feel where you coming from. Not saying you got to be a fool, and that goes back to that discernment word. Look it up if you don't really know what it means. You don't have to just be bought by everybody, because people is just liars out here and schemers.
That's a fact.
But have compassion, because at one point you didn't know. Somebody taught you, and have compassion because anything could happen. That the same thing that you don't understand, like, for example, a domestic violence situation. I don't understand why this man would stay in a relationship and this lady beating on him, and I don't understand that. You may not understand, but then 10 years later, 5 years later, 6 months later, that could be your exact situation, and you don't understand why you're still in it. So have compassion, like.
And that's another thing that we need to have within our school districts, within our educational system, because
Definitely.
Well, I guess
particularly in the
inner city, because that's the only one I can really speak of, because that's where that's the
I
basis.
never been to a suburban school.
That's the basis to my, I can't speak on somewhere I've never been.
Yeah.
But compassion is hard to come by within the inner city. Why? Because we don't have a lot of representation within the schools.
I know, and I hate the way the teachers seem so hard up with addressing our kids.
And I mean, like, hard.
I mean, me too, but I come from a place of I'm hard on you because you know better.
Well, we was just me and Mo was just talking about that today briefly, when it comes to, like, being able to. We have white people within the schools that have the savior mentality, but then you have ones that understand and recognize there's a problem here, but that doesn't separate you from being able to endure this consequence.
Right.
So, and that's a big difference. Like, if you are a savior, like somebody with a savior mentality, and you're trying to do everything to save this helpless kid, you're providing more of a disservice than a service. As opposed to when you recognize, okay, this kid comes from a troubled background, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that they feel, they're adequate within the shoes. They're confident.
And they're setting their own high levels of expectation. You're doing well because you want to do well.
Absolutely.
You are achieving because you want to be excellent. You want that for yourself.
Right.
And at the end of the day, nobody can do it for you. Put it in you. They can't pay you to do nothing. You have to want it for yourself, and you have to want to achieve.
And at the same time, though, when you do wrong, you make sure that you have the consequence behind it. There's no holding back because, you come from this background, so I won't do this. It's like, you did the consequence. I understand that you struggle, whatever, but you have to understand that once you go out there, there's no, I come from, the hood.
Yeah. I know, like, growing up, I had I didn't have many mentors or people that wanted to, help me glow or nothing like that, but I did have some. And those people always told me that they were very happy that I was a person who persevered, because, like, I really went through a lot growing up, and I didn't use it as a crutch ever. Even now, I don't even like to talk about stuff I went through, because I'm like, well, I'm talking about that for.
Right. I'm
talking about what I'm achieving. We'll talk about this greatness. Talk about this black girl magic. Right. That's what I want you to talk about. Like, I don't want to talk about the things that, how some people say, good thing I don't look like what I've gone through. That's what I feel like. I want to persevere. I want to continue on without thinking about all of the negative. And I want the same for students. Like, I want them to look at certain things and say, okay, I know I'm in this situation, but there's future coming. I have better days coming. If I put my mind to it and I do the things that is in my control, then I can be who I want to be. If I think about it, I could be that, right. Versus, feeling like, dang, somebody doing this to me and this is all I'm going to be in this. Because people told me, you ain't never going to be nothing. You're not good enough. All of that. You're not beautiful enough. Anything you could think of,
right.
So people tell you all that stuff, and you gotta have compassion for yourself. You gotta know, like,
Which go back to that quote.
Yeah.
Before you have anything, patience, anything for anything else, you have to have it for yourself first.
All right.
Yeah.
For real.
I mean,
have patience with all things, but first of all, yourself.
Yeah, but first of all, yourself. And like, representation is huge. Like, I've been talking about representation for a while now, and a lot of people don't understand how huge representation is. I mean, like, when you're consistently represented in a specific way, you start to socialize yourself in that way. So, which leads you to do and replicate the things that you're socialized in. So, we're socialized as successful people. Black people are represented as successful people only in two arenas: as a rapper or a singer, or a
entertainer.
athlete.
Yep.
That's it. So you have to be some type of entertainer. So that's a rapper, athlete, producer, DJ, things
Some
that
type of
need
industry.
specific skill. Or you're an athlete. Well, I guess it's okay. So it's all entertainers basically. Like, so it's either you're an athlete.
What can you do to entertain us?
Yeah, like, right. Y'all have to entertain us. So what can you do? We're not seen
And that's
as
where your success
lawyers.
lies. No.
We're not seen as teachers. We're not seen as firefighters, policemen. Like how do we have a community in which we don't police ourselves? We have we can do it. There's no requirements, but you can't have a felony and you can be a policeman and you pass the physical. We can all pass the physical. We know that historically they've always wanted us to, they wanted to be as physical as we are.
Yeah.
So, but why are we not policing our own communities?
Right. Well, with that fact, we know what the police started as.
Well, yeah. We know what they started as. But it's just an example. Like we can be successful in we can be the police chief. We can be the police commissioner. Yeah. We can be the mayor. We can be all these things, but we don't see ourselves in those positions. So our kids don't put themselves in the position to be in that position or to take that position.
Yeah, let's give a major shout out again to our 44th president, Barack Obama, and his first lady, POTUS.
Michelle Obama. Like, and I was thinking about that as I was walking into the house the other night. It was like, because I remember like Dr. Umar saying, well, Obama didn't do anything for our people, blah blah blah. But it's like, yo, right now in the now, he might not have had the capacity and the people within Congress to do what he really wanted to do. But think about what's going on now. Like, we got the most women ever in Congress. We got the first openly gay person, male in Congress or in the Senate. It's in the Senate or Congress. Like, he transformed. Like, even though we got the orange man in office right now, he's transformed the dynamic of politics. And his presence as the 44th will forever stand as a historic turning point in U.S. history. He didn't do anything in the present tense when you're talking about major policies and changing the ghetto and the hood.
Did people really expect Obama to go into the White House and just
say black people?
He's like, what did you expect him to be? Like some type of fairy, unicorn, leprechaun type, mystical? Because years, over 400 years of
trying to get to vote.
All he could do within 8 years.
Right.
What did y'all really expect? And that man, when I say him and his family, they took on the White House with so much grace,
elegance.
They took on presidency with so much prestige and
ease
intellect
too. And ease, like it was.
And I know it wasn't easy for him because you see the transformation, how he turned gray and all that, but he did it with finesse,
brushing shoulders off and everything, and telling them like, "Yo, I did this twice. What you like? Come for me, bro." Nobody
can't sit here and come for Uncle Obama like that in my presence.
Nah.
What did you do?
Exactly.
Don't talk about Uncle Obama. What did you do?
And none of them did nothing, which is the crazy part. But
Umar,
it's more so
where your school at? We waiting on it.
Oh,
we love what you be talking about because you write about the ADD.
Yeah,
and
you write about all that stuff.
You right. Where your school at?
And
we love the idea. Frederick Douglass Academy. We love that idea. Rochester loves Frederick Douglass.
I'll work with you. But let's start to produce.
Yep.
Let's start to produce. But it's really just to kind of cap on that. It's more so like with the Obama idea. His representation alone has started a ripple effect that's going to carry on for generations.
Definitely.
Like now,
because when we were kids, I don't know if there was so much people aspiring to be a president. But now that
anything in politics, really,
and now that you know, Rochester has a Black mayor. Please, big up, blessings, big shout out to Mayor Lovely Warren.
Yep.
From, you know, we have a ability to aspire because we are represented in that way. Right. You know, and when you're a visual person and a person that comes from, you know, a place, you know, that type of background, you have to see it to believe it. Right. And when you're on TV and all you see is, oh, I hate to say it, but the ratchets and, you know, the cussing people out, and we good at that too. But yeah, like, let's be real, that's not what we are. So much bigger than that. Right.
Exactly. But that's how we're represented. Mm-hmm. And so since we're represented in that way, that's how our kids act.
And that's why we create these platforms, our channels and our networks, and we are going to be the representation. Like, yeah, you can speak Ebonics. You can talk with your native dialect, and you can feel comfortable, and you can still be articulate, and you can still be intelligent, and all of that, because
you can still take over the world.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. We're changing. We're the millennials. I love that word.
Now we're in the Generation Z, but the millennials is now in charge of making sure that Generation Z, once they start to take over, we already set the foundation, like cemented it and everything. So now they're starting building on it.
Plant your seed, baby, and watch it grow.
For real. So, dang, that was a good show.
Okay, wait. Last card.
Yeah, let's keep on going.
Yep, we can close on
We're gonna close on love.
Let's shuffle it up.
Ooh. Love. Ooh.
Love. All right, so I just shuffled and picked the first card. Let's see what we got. So it says, "Don't tell me you will love me forever. Tell me that you will love me Thursday afternoon at 4:00. That's what the card says.
Oh.
And to give you some context, is W.H. Auden in The 5 Things We Cannot Change by David Richo.
Yeah. Read that one more time.
Okay. Don't tell me you will love me forever. Tell me that you will love me Thursday afternoon at 4:00. So what do they mean by that?
It's a lot to go in that one. Because I feel the way that I'm internalizing that as I'm going through is like, if you to tell somebody that you will love them forever is a very vague, generalized
full of hope.
Yeah, like a hopeful thing. Like, I love you. I'm gonna love you forever. We tell our kids we love them all the time. I love you forever. I'm gonna always love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a very generalized, not individualized and personalized statement. But if you tell somebody, yo, I love you tomorrow at 2:00.
And I think the way I interpret it is, it resonates with me with a certain quote that I always hear about, give people their flowers while they can smell them. Let people drink their coffee while it's hot. You know, so don't tell me you love me forever as far as, oh, I'll always love you. It's just there and No, I need you to, you know, be in the present, you know, and I want my flowers while I can smell them. I don't want to know about forever and in the future and you know, whatever. You know, it's Thursday afternoon right now. It's 4:00. I want it now, and I don't want to be told about some fairy tale. Just love is love. Live and let love be love.
Yeah, so love it in the present instead of planning loving in the future. Oh, yeah.
And love yourself.
But love yourself first.
Yep.
You can't love nobody else if you don't love yourself. And if you don't know that, I would. So one thing, I'm gonna shout out Lauryn Hill real quick.
Oh, blessings to the big sis, Lauryn Hill.
Let me look up. In which Lauryn Hill is she's a legend. Let's just put it at that while I'm looking it up. Because Lauryn, she's done a lot, and the industry did her dirty, but she still did a lot without even having the industry. But anyway,
Lauryn Hill is a vibe.
It's a whole vibe. Like, and it's a timeless vibe. Like, she made one album and it's timeless.
Classic.
Timeless. And that actually, the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, that kind of plugged into our educational piece. Like, those type of conversations they were having in school. So imagine health class. You talking about love. What is love?
What is the love?
What is love?
You say you know what love is.
It's almost like I love you unconditionally. Well, what does that mean? Do we really know what unconditional love is? Which takes me when I get that question from Lauryn Hill. So 2002, the MTV Unplugged number 2.0. Or, well, that's what it's called. I want y'all to go and listen to that. Like, sometimes I just get lost.
The Blue album?
Nah, this is when she was doing
Yeah,
the little,
okay, I'm thinking blue. No, it's not blue. It's black and white.
in the black and white, but it's just, this right here is like, she was doing like this, almost like a city hall.
I think she cried
type
on
joint.
that, didn't she?
She was going crazy on it.
Yeah.
But she was, in between her, it was like stories. I guess, okay, so you can say stories. It was like stories, poems, and her music. All intertwined. She had the interludes. She had the actual songs, and she explained, the songs and where they came from and why she wrote them and this, that, and the third. Y'all really listen to that because she kind of talks about that quote, like being in the present. She don't talk about that quote, but she talking about just being in the present because unconditional love. What is unconditional love? And unconditional love is one of those generalized things to say, well, I love you unconditionally. Well, what does that mean? Do you gonna love me when this, that, and the third happen? Do you know that? So how can you say you're gonna love me unconditionally? Love me now and show me what love is now. That's that's dope.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, so I think we could close on that. Like, take all of these gems, and I know we was bouncing around and we was getting excited to talk about everything,
but they all came together.
It all is sewn together.
It's sewn together, and that's how we gonna advance as people. We gotta understand that when we growing up, we're gonna actually wrap all of it together now. When we growing up, we're told to go to college. We're told to do a job that pay you a lot of money.
Do it for the money.
We're not told how to pay our taxes, how to file our taxes, how to handle credit. How school is one of the biggest scams ever in American history because if you don't utilize school right, you're left with mad debt that you got to pay back 6 months after you graduate.
Right.
Which implies that you have to have a job landed as
you graduate.
at the point of graduation. Like when you crossing across that stage, you walking into that door the next day type thing. So just understanding that all that stuff is good, but be patient with all things, but first of all yourself. Because if you're not patient with yourself, then you can't be patient with anything else. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And if you are not, compassionate, forgiving, then you can't do that to anybody else. And when it comes to school, when it comes to
life, period,
life, be creative in the way that you handle those things. Don't be one dimensional. Don't be in a box. You just heard about Palassi. Payless's prank on their social media influencers to get them to buy a $35 pair of shoes for $670. Like, that is a creative approach to being able to they went into a penumbra, a shadowy, indefinite, or marginal area when it talks about sales, when it talks about something that they're not used to doing. But they were highly successful because they were creative in that sense. So, as we close, I want our people, our community, our black people, I want y'all to understand that. And it's not limited to y'all. It's limited to everybody. But especially to our black people, our black kings and queens. Be creative in how we do it. And for everybody else, be creative in how y'all do it too.
Be creative.
Just be creative at the end of the day.
And be extra AF.
Extra AF.
And have some compassion for yourself and be patient with yourself. This is a journey.
It's a journey. It's a whole life journey, which we have to learn from. We learn from our experiences more than anything else. And we're oracle people.
Definitely. And let's learn how to heal and learn how to live and enjoy it. Because it's life. You get one of them. Let's enjoy it. Let's not bask in the negative. Let's live in the light.
Yes, live in that light, because when you live in the light, all that darkness bounce right off you.
Yeah. It's like, what? The haters on you, but get them up off me.
Almost think about those 8 years Obama was in office. He was living in so much light, nothing could touch him. Nothing can touch him. Nothing.
You still can't touch Unc.
You still can't touch him. And they're a $1 billion brand right now, which is crazy. Anyways, y'all already know. Bring another set of ears for next week's show. This is Royal Flex the Brand's introspective insight talk show. I am KingDev Doe.
And this is FancyLancey.
FancyLancey. Noel Moore and Shannon Shenanigans could not be here, but it's okay, because we got it covered. Be back next week. And you already know Shannon loves you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Introspect. Tiv inside. Hope you come back next week.
Come back next week.